What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you a video discussing Joe Burrow's upcoming season and why I believe there's a lot of pressure on him, as well as, this is kind of a prove it or lose it year for him as far as his ranking in the top five goes, and I'll discuss why. So let's get in the video, guys. So this video was inspired by me doing my power rankings for my quarterbacks for this upcoming season, which I'm not going to release. I just do it every year to see where I feel about it and stuff like that, and where I have some of these guys at. And once I was done, my top five finished just like this. Obviously, the first two set in stone: Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen. Those two are the best quarterbacks in the NFL last couple years, and probably will be for the next couple years as well. Then you have, for me, I have 3 Lamar Jackson, 4 Joe Burrow, and 5 Herbert from the Chargers, which was 3, 4, and 5, but really 4 and 5 was like splitting hairs, very, very close. But when I was done with the list, I went all the way down to 32. But when I was done with the list, I asked myself, who could I see falling out of the top 5 first? And looking at everyone's team, looking at everyone's, just the narrative around everyone, I think Joe Burrow is the odd man out if he doesn't perform this year. And let's get into why. So first go on the list, Pat Mahomes, set in stone. He cannot fall to top 5 no time soon. No matter what he does this year or even next year probably, I think he's fine in that top 5. He gets the pass for having a couple bad years if it does happen. Josh Allen, I feel the same way. I think the narrative on him winning a title now is kind of gone. No Stephon Diggs. The star linebacker is hurt yet again. I believe Matt Milano is his name. He's hurt yet again. The team's kind of going through a rebuild in their receiving core. The best two pass catchers are the 2 tight ends, Knox and Kincaid. So it's like I don't really know if the pressure is on Sean McDermott and Josh Allen as it was a couple years ago, and even last year that I said was a win or go home year for that franchise as far as trading Diggs, which they ended up doing, but also getting rid of McDermott, which they did not. So I think they're kind of safe right now, going through a little retooling stage. Baltimore Ravens, I think Lamar set in stone as probably top 5. The best dynamic quarterback in today's NFL. And we know as fans what he's going to give you. So I think that's set in stone there as well. I think the top 5, last year's MVP, he could have a down year, be injured like he has before, and still have his ranking as a top 5 guy. If I'm not, if that does happen, knock on wood, I hope it doesn't. I think he can survive an injury and still be on that top 5. Probably at number 5, he might drop down, but I think he could stay in that top 5. Then you have 4 and 5, like I said, on my personal list, Burrow and Herbert in that order. In the past, I think the Bengals had a better team, more talent. Defense was good, offense was great. All that stuff. Well, both are great. Last couple of years for the Bengals. The Bengals are now, their defense kind of on the downturn now. But the Chargers, to me, are on the uptick. I think they're looking better than what people realize. I'm really loving, and look, I was so anti Greg Roman his last couple years, especially his last year with the Ravens. But I'm very excited about this hire and about Jim Harbaugh joining the Chargers to help Justin Herbert. The team is talented, definitely. Bosa, Mack on defense, Derwin James, Sante Samuel Jr., but the offense lost a lot of weapons. So they have a pass there as well. But at the same time, I think Herbert will play well this year because the ball is out of his hands more. Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh, I believe, are really pounding the ball. With running backs like Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, the rookie running back, I forgot his name now, but he's been well at camp and did okay in the preseason. Spiller, if he stays around, if he doesn't get cut or moved on from. They have a lot of running backs who aren't. They have no RB1 in my opinion as of right now, but they have a bunch of running back group that's going to do very, very well behind that good offensive line. And I think they're going to take the ball out of Herbert's hands a little bit more than he has last couple of years because Herbert's run game has been garbage. His whole career so far, even with the great Austin Eckler, the run game wasn't awesome. So I think this year the tides will turn. We already know what Harbaugh did at Michigan, run, and he will do that with Dobbins Edwards, and the list goes on with the running backs they have there. And Herbert has elite talent. But I will say this: Herbert has underwhelmed, in my opinion, the last couple years. But I think this year could be a different look. The ball is out of his hands more, but when it is in his hands, I think he make plays with it on the Greg Roman system. As I said, I'm not a Greg Roman fan, but I had to sit back and think. Greg Roman didn't ask for or didn't need, not to say need. He didn't mean to get Lamar Jackson. It just happened upon him. So his scheme had to change to fit Lamar's game style, play style. But now with Herbert, a quarterback who had a better arm, way better arm, better accuracy, all that good stuff. His stuff is different. It's not what it was. He's not as limited as he was messing with Lamar Jackson. But now I have Burrow at number 4 spot. And I have 3 topics I want to discuss real quick on why I believe, if he doesn't address all these things, or even 2 or 3 of these things, 2 of 3 of these topics, if he fails at those, it could be a very, tough off season for Burrow as far as his ranking and his, where he stands on the top 5 list of upper echelon quarterbacks. So first, health is wealth. Obviously, stay healthy. If Burrow stays healthy, that's the biggest thing. Availability is the best ability. You gotta stay healthy. He's always same as Herbert and Lamar, but really Herbert and him really been battled out for just being hurt. Ribs were a big factor for Herbert the last a year or two ago. I think last year, obviously, excuse me, what's his name? I went blank. Burrow, the guy in the video. Joe Burrow's calf coming into last year was definitely, a hindrance in training camp, a hindrance to start the season, and it wasn't an excuse. When he played bad the first couple of weeks, it was, oh, my calf, not him, but the media, the fans, his calf. But when he played well, right before the injury, the calf is fine. Then when he go back to playing bad or having a rough game, the calf. It's like, all that excuse stuff has got to go out the window. Stay healthy. Rookie season, the torn ACL, all that good stuff, all that bad stuff, not good stuff, but all that stuff happened, came back, obviously, gained his status in the NFL as a big dog in 2022 and 2021. But 2023 was a rough year, and people want to go back as well. I've been seeing on social media and also in the YouTube sphere, not mainstream media, but people and fans do want to go back and say, look at Joe Burrow's play that year they went to the Super Bowl. They weren't doing Joe. Joe wasn't like that. He was good, but he wasn't great. So, there are people saying that as well, but the main thing, keep the main thing first, and then you got to get healthy. Stay healthy, get healthy, be healthy, whatever. But try to stay healthy as possible, which is tough. You're playing in the NFL. You're getting hit. You're getting sacked. One angle can change things for you and make you uncomfortable and shake shake a bone in your body and twist something up. But if he can stay healthy, stay upright, that's half the battle for Joe Burrow and any player really, but really for Joe Burrow. And like I said, regaining his or staying in the top 5 and even moving up, which is possible. It's definitely not impossible. Then the second option, the second topic is really the one for me outside of health, and because the health is really for all players. But can he play well with unproven players? And there's no Joe Mixon. He's now going with the Texans via trade this offseason. There's no Tyler Boyd. I believe they let him walk. I don't think with the trade he went to the Titans, if I'm not mistaken. So Tyler Boyd is gone, a reliable weapon. Joe Mixon is gone. At one point in time, a very good back. I think he's just good now, good to solid. But you replace them guys, you replace Mixon with 2 guys, Chase Brown, who was there last year via the draft pick, who looked pretty decent, who I just mentioned in my video I did a couple days ago on players to watch out for that could become like a breakout candidate. And I mentioned Chase Brown and Zach Moss. And if you follow the channel, the times I've mentioned Zach Moss, normally when I mention the Colts, of last year, and then also of the Bengals of this year. I love Zach Moss. I really, really love Zach Moss. Big, aggressive back that plays hard, runs hard. But we'll see what the duo of Brown and Moss can do in that backfield. Because Mixon was good. He wasn't great. He had great moments, but Mixon was very good at one point. Like I said, not so much. He's good to solid now, but can they replace high level Mixon play? We'll see. We'll see. Then you have the loss of Tyler Boyd. And you have T. Higgins there. You have Jamar Chase there still. I still am confused on why T. Higgins is there. I'm surprised they kept him, because I thought a team would have traded for him. But teams tried. Bengals said no, which a lot of Bengals fans told me he would stay in 2024. He definitely tried to leave, but didn't quite work out for him yet. But you still had your two big dogs there. But the big dogs, they've had them at all times, and they still haven't really won much outside of that 1 year when they went to the Super Bowl. They haven't really won, with those two guys, and they're both getting older. Like I said, they're both, and T. Higgins is banged up a little bit as well, same as Chase. So and I say NFL players, but some guys are banged up more than others. And I think Chase and Higgins keep a little injury on them too. So. You gotta watch out for that as well. And then you have your slot guy. Who will play the slot? And that's another big question. You follow my channel, especially during the draft time. My last draft video 2 days before the draft started was on Jermaine Burton. And from Alabama. Questions about his character on the field, off the field, mainly on the field, really. They say he's a good guy, but on the field he kind of wiles out a little bit, gets too into it. But he's my guy, and he's looked good in the preseason. I heard he looked good in camp, everything I heard and everything I've read. But the question is, can he step up? Can him and Burrow get a connection in the regular season? Burrow didn't play none of the preseason, so he's going in raw. He's going in raw. He's going in, hasn't played since 2023, really. So we're going to see what he has left. And if you can find a connection with, Burton, you have another slot receiver there, and Andre, I hope I don't mess his name up, Isovius, so he's there labeled right now on the depth chart as the number one slot guy. So it's going to be tricky. Then you have a new tight end and Mike Gesicki, who I love Mike Gesicki, but he's bounced around last couple of years on 1 year deals. I think Dolphins, Patriots, and maybe somewhere else. I forgot, somewhere in between maybe. But Mike G is a good tight end. He fits there perfectly. And they're the reason why I had at last year's trade deadline, or even either trade deadline last year or the offseason last year, I had Mike Gesicki traded to the Bengals in the prediction video, because it just made sense. It made sense back then. It makes sense now. But Mike G hasn't played well in the last couple of years. So his last year in Miami wasn't well, because that was Mike McDaniel first year, and he didn't really love the fit of Mike G. Then you have Mike G with the Patriots, who didn't play well there either. So it's like, what does Mike G have left? Can him and Burrow find some consistency? We'll see. Is Mike G still good? So, there's a lot of improving weapons as around Joe Burrow right now at this time. Then you have the O-line. Can they stay sturdy? Can they stay healthy? Can they protect Joe? Joe has been hit a lot in his career, a lot of sacks. Not all due to O-line, but they're definitely not the greatest. So we'll see what they have there. Orlando Brown, Trent Brown, those guys there as the two the two tackles. But the O-line itself is okay, not great. And then you have, the last topic, the last real thing that Burrow has to work on is the turnovers. Everyone always talks about Josh Allen turnovers and how he's so reckless with the ball. Joe Burrow's the same. He's not that far off. Joe Burrow can give you easily a bunch of two or three pick games. He definitely has a lot in his a couple, not a lot, but he has some in his career. And people always want to judge Josh Allen for his many turnovers, but Josh Allen is asked to do a lot more. He has to be mobile. He has to be a playmaker. And that's not really the role of Burrow. Allen is asked to do a lot more with a lot less. At least the last couple years, it's still the same. Like I said, he lost weapons more than he added weapons. That being Josh Allen, you added Curtis Samuels, Keon Coleman, the rookie from Florida State. Added some other guys as well, but that still doesn't compare to the two big guys Burrow has in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So, Burrow still arguably could have more than him, but it's a lot closer than what it once was with no Mixon and with no Tyler Boyd, So, but last thing, like I said, the turnovers is a major piece, man. Burrow can hurt himself and the team his team, not himself, but he can hurt, well, I guess himself with his ranking. The turnovers are high. They are high, man. And the last couple of years since being in the league, Burrow can definitely give it away. He definitely can get the ball away, no question. Him, Allen, Trevor Lawrence, those guys are definitely in the mix for QBs who give the ball away a lot, a whole lot. Lamar with the fumbles, timely fumbles, untimely fumbles, stuff like that. But just looking at the youth, man, the league is getting younger, as we all know, and the quarterbacks are looking good. C.J. Stroud, he's pushing for a top 5 spot. Jordan Love is coming for a top 5 spot. You have, Kirk Cousins return from injury for my Falcons. I can't wait to see him play. Hopefully he balls out. Dak Prescott, you never know with him. He played like an MVP for a lot of the last couple of years. You have Aaron Rodgers back. Matthew Stafford for the Rams. So there's some guys who are gunning for that top 5 spot, and I think, it's all said and done, or even no, I'll say now, just going into the year, if you ask yourself who is the most vulnerable in that top 5 between Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar, and Herbert, there's a good, I think a good people will vote for Burrow. I think Lamar could be another popular vote because he's not the best thrower, but he's so dynamic. I think he has to stay. And I think, as I said, it's between Herbert and Burrow, in my opinion. And Herbert has a little more. I have the edge to him more because of the coaching staff and because of, I think they're gonna scheme it up to where he won't have to be the playmaker he used to have to be, and that caused a couple of injuries, holding on to the ball a little longer, having the ball in his hands more. I think the opposite. Burrow can have the ball in his hands about the same or more. Because do you trust Zach Moss? Do you trust Chase Brown the same way you trust Joe Mixon? That's a big question. That's a good question that would have to be seen. So, you still have to get the ball to T. Higgins, still have to get the ball to Jamar Chase. So we're gonna see what happens, but I think this could be a big prove-it year for Joe Burrow. I think it will be. I think it will be. Either he cements himself, and even next year might be the same. Because like I said, these young guys are coming. These young guys are coming. Love, Stroud, Caleb Williams. These young, if they all play well, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy. These young guys are coming, and I don't think Herbert and Burrow have done enough to be like, yeah, we're set in stone. I don't think so. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hope the best for Joe Burrow and all players. I mentioned on this channel in a positive or negative way. It wasn't really negative, just giving my opinion. But I do think there's a chance that Burrow doesn't ball out and doesn't live up to the standard that we all, most of us, have for him since entering the league, especially going to the Super Bowl a couple years ago versus the Rams. He might fall short of that, not Super Bowl, but just the play, the greatness that he showed back then. And I think there could be a chance that he doesn't reach that level yet again this year. Defense not as good, unproven weapons around. So we'll see. We'll see. I think there is pressure on Burrow this season. But that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.